And finally, we have the V2 version. Well, it's not a V2 actually, because the APNX released V1, which wasn't a version 1. This is called V2, so it's not a version 2, it's just the name of the case. I'm going into philosophy way too early in this video. So right here we have the APNX V2 case, which has 86.5% of view because of the tempered glass. And that's insane. You can clearly see literally almost everything except for the power supply, because you'll have to lean back and check out the power supply, but that's totally irrelevant, because if you're looking for a build that looks outstanding and has great airflow, this might be a solution. Well, the thing is, you can go up to 10 fans if they are 120, you can go up to 7 fans if they are 140, and you can also accommodate 160 fans to 160 at the bottom. So this case comes with 4 pre-installed 140 PWM addressable RGB, and you can add radiator anywhere. In terms of, you can put it on the top like I did, or you can put it on the side. So it all depends on your preferences and how you're going to manage everything. The cool thing about this scenario is that you get an option, you get a possibility. And I haven't seen a fish tank that has an option to either place AAO on top or on the side. So regarding that, that's a cool way. And I mentioned that at their booth at Computex, because this case really gives you an option. So the pre-installed fans are in the bottom part of the case, so they are already reversed. They aren't reversed in terms of the visual aspect, as you can see those on the side, but they are reversed, so they create an intake, and it's nicely risen up from the bottom part, basically from the table, to intake cold and fresh air into the chassis. Then we have another one, which is again the same fan as the bottom one, just is acting as an exhaust. Now what you can do is, and taking into consideration this type of cases, the side should be an intake and top should be an exhaust. In that scenario, since I placed an AIO on top, this is an exhaust, and on the side we have 2 fans additionally creating an intake. Now, since we're talking about the fans, these are F3, the new APNX fans, and we have another cool thing. We have the Max G1 power supply, which comes in varieties of 850, 1000 and 1200 watts. Now I'm going to go quickly through the power supply and fans, and then I'm going to jump back to the case because I have them installed right here. As I said, Max G1, 80 plus gold and cybernetics platinum, ATX 3.1 compliant, high power 12V 2x6 connectors, because 1200 watts has 2 of those, 100% Japanese capacitors. It's of course fully modular, 135mm fluid dynamic bearing fan with 0 RPM mode and a switch at the back. It has 140mm form factor, so it's quite compact, and outstanding 10-year warranty. The MSRP for 850 is 149 euros. For 1000 it's 179 euros, and for the one that I have right here it's 228 euros. Now for the F3 fans, quite minimalistic design, 120 and 140 in size. Single plus triple pack will be possible, where the triple pack comes with the APNX addressable RGB and PWM hub, which is a 10 port. That's also outstanding because I'll get to that part later on. PWM fan, which goes up to 2000 RPMs. Airflow is 91.9 CFM, and ultra thick shock absorbing pads are also included. Now, this case is definitely one of a kind because it gives you loads of cooling options, and you can go with radiators such as pairing it up with 360 and 240. You can go 360 on the side, then you can place 240 on top, or vice versa, and that's good. Now, if you place a 360 on top, you have space for 2 140 on the side, which brings us to 3 120 fans, if we disregard the AAO, and we have 6 additional 140mm fans. This really does create a nice airflow, and we'll get to the benchmark part quite soon. Now, when we're talking about dismantling the case, you have 1 thumb screw for the side tempered glass, you have 2 thumb screws for the top tempered glass. They are both also attached to that triangle on the front with a peg. So be careful when you're pulling it out. Nothing will happen because, as far as I can see, the 2 screws are holding that triangle to the front tempered glass. Now, for the back side, you just pop it out because you have pegs. Now, since I'm at the back side, and I'm jumping all around, but the back side is also quite interesting. You have a power supply compartment and you have some sort of a hard drive compartment and hub compartment as well. Now these two can be rotated and switched because what this gives you an option. When you place the power supply in the bottom part, you place the controller at the top, and because of it you can place a back connect motherboard. This gives you an option to do a better cable management, more space, more clearance. But if you're not going with the back connect motherboard, you can just leave the power supply as it is. Now for the hub, I didn't mention it with the triple pack. It comes with 10 addressable RGB and 10 PWM headers. This means that they also did something else. You have to connect two SATA ports, two SATA cables, just to be able to basically give enough power for all of that. And I totally understand this is really good because you don't want to go with single SATA port and not get enough power for all of that. Now, to make it easier, you're not going to connect two addressable RGB and two PWM cables to your motherboard. You're just connecting one 5-volt strip-in addressable RGB header to your motherboard, connecting both sides of the controller, and of course the same thing goes for the PWM. This is really cool because, I mean, you have possibility to place 10 fans, and why not just all connect them at the back. Now also you have at the back loads of openings to connect literally everything quite nicely, and you have Velcro ties that give you an option to do a proper cable management. In this scenario where the power supply is in the middle and the hard drive bay is at the bottom, it kind of gets, I would say, a bit tricky to open those because these Velcro ties, honestly, I haven't seen better Velcro ties in my life because I really did struggle, and it took me a bit longer because when you untie one side, the other side locks. So you do have to do that simultaneously. This is totally unnecessary for the case, but just giving you heads up what I encountered, nothing bad, nothing negative, but it's something that just to give you an idea. And then we go to the front side back again. We have this, I would say, some sort of a shroud going from the top part of the I/O ports for the motherboard, going around completely and finishing up on the side where the GPU anti-sag bracket is. Now the GPU anti-sag bracket is really cool because it gives you an option to adjust the height and the length depending on the GPU, depending on the location of the fan and everything all together. This gives you quite nice option to have GPU standing quite nice and straight. When we go and discuss that cable shroud, what you can do is also, if you place the AAO this way and you really want to hide the tubes as much as possible, you don't want to place them on the front part, you want to do it like I did, one tube, the bottom tube, needs to, well, it does need to go between the cable shroud, and you can place all the cables through that, reroute everything through the back, and that's basically quite cool. I do have to say, you have one thumb screw here at the back side where, well, basically somewhere in the middle that you untie, and that top part goes up with a lever, and then you just pull it out. You have the option to rearrange everything, and you can easily place it back. So everything is thought through here. Everything is quite nicely done. The fans that are coming, the F3, are really silent. So I'm really digging the whole aesthetic first and foremost, and then the loudness of them. That's really good. Now, when we go to the benchmarks, now this is something that I didn't expect in terms of performance, but then again, we don't have an APNX AIO right here. We have a Calling Umbra Void 360, and if you remember, I did review it a long time ago, but regardless of that, the AIO does have an impact on the performance here. The case, the performance, and everything all together is good, and I'll tell you why. So we go with AIDA64 Extreme Edition System Stability Test. CPU goes up to 90 degrees. We're talking about AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D. Clock speed is 4775 megahertz. GPU is 68 degrees. And I'm gonna stop right here just to give you an idea. As you can see, the CPU is quite high, higher than usual, and the clock speeds are somewhere there. But the GPU is at 68, and that's not impacted by the AIO. It's because of the cooling of this case. It goes from the bottom to the top and manages to cool the GPU quite nicely. Because usually, if you remember, this GPU, this is RTX 4080 Super Gaming Slim, it goes, well, it can go up to 72, and now it's 68. And that's basically an indication that this AAO has been impacted. Well, basically, this case has been impacted with performance because of this AAO. So, in terms of AAO in this case, definitely I would change the AAO and go with something that is much more proved to be in a higher segment of cooling. But regardless of that, it still got good performance, because in Cinebench R23, what we got here is average 83.9 Celsius degrees. The clock speed is 4953, and the Cinebench score is 26,424. Now, in general, this score is quite good, but we have 360 AAOs that perform up to 26,600s, 700s, and even higher, but those are actually quite good. So what you can do is intake on the side, intake at the bottom, exhaust here, exhaust here at the rear, exhaust at the top. It's really straightforward and simple. You can go with two radiators simultaneously, so 360 or 240, 360 and 240, side, top side, whatever you want to go. In general, we need to go through some specs. So we're having APNX V2, and we have the black and white version, but we also have a mesh version which goes with the mesh top, black and white as well. We have 0.8 millimeter steel thickness. It supports ATX, micro ATX, and mini ATX motherboards. The dimensions are 466 times 309 times 50, which ends up to be 71 liters. You have one 3.5-inch hard drive bay and four 2.5-inch SSD bays. 7 expansion slots at the back. Supports GPUs up to 445 millimeters without the radiator in front right position. CPU cooler clearance is up to 183 millimeters. And well, you already know, for the air cooling and liquid cooling. For the I/O ports, I would say quite cool. One USB 3.2 generation 2 times 2 type C, and two USB 3.2 generation 1 type A, HD audio and microphone combo jack, and of course we have power on button. For the power supply, we have, including cables, up to 270 millimeters, and the cable management space at the back is 99 millimeters. So what you get with this case: outstanding looks 86.5%. This is what they wrote, of course, because I'm not going to go and calculate the percentage of visibility of the chassis, but in general, quite huge visibility of the case, the interior. Then we have the possibility for back connect. You have to remove those panels. It's all up to you. You can remove them regardless of that and get more cable management options in those terms. If you're going with a regular motherboard, or if you're going with back connect, you can do that as well. In that sense, you have to swap the power supply to the bottom to get more cable management space at the back and basically better organization of the cables. You have the hard drive bay that has the 10 addressable RGB and PWM hub that needs to be connected to two SATA ports. Four 140 millimeter F3 fans from APNX as well, 3 at the bottom, 1 at the rear, and loads of possibilities for the fans and cooling options. I mean, the only thing this case is now missing, and now I'm nitpicking a bit, is the option for a vertical GPU. I mean, you can do it, but you do need a bracket for it, because when you remove all the expansion slots, you don't have those extra lines between the expansion slots. So basically, if you remove all 7 expansion slots, you have full clearance here, and you can, if you have a bracket, do that as well. So in general, what I can say is I'm loving the case. I don't like my color scheme black and white, but it's up to personal taste. Maybe some of you will love this mix-up in general, but I'm not digging this. I'd rather go with either full white or full black. It's just me, the way that I do things, but yeah, it is what it is. So for this case, PC Crazy approved badge just because of the cooling options, visual aspect, and quite outstanding fans that come with the case. That's it. The links are in the description for all 4 models, so you can basically go and do wonders, check out what is most suitable for you and your build and your setup. And finally, you'll be definitely satisfied with this case, without a doubt. And that's not all. If you're new to the channel and your first time watching my videos, disregard the black and white color scheme, because usually it's singular color. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell. I'll see you quite soon in another one. Thanks. Bye bye.